Hi everyone, welcome to Wrestling Retrospective, and in this video I'll be reviewing Backlash 2023. So first up we had Bianca Belair defending the Raw Women's Championship against Io Sky. I thought this was a great match to kick off Backlash as a whole. The crowd from the get-go was firmly behind Io Sky and they were refusing to shift. They were literally booing Bianca Belair at one point, and I thought that was really cool. I can't say I'm not disappointed that Io didn't get the win here. I would have preferred her to get the win. I think she'd be a good Raw Women's Champion. I think it would add to the story that they're clearly going with Bayley's interference at the end of the match that overall cost Io Sky the match. I feel like it would have been an even better storyline to have Io as champion and have Bayley get increasingly jealous of Io Sky. But however, with Belair on the cusp of a history-making reign, as soon as they mentioned it on commentary that she'd become the longest reigning modern era champion, I knew that she was going to get the win on Saturday night and continue her reign as Raw Women's Champion. I'm not sure what they mean by modern history's reign. I don't know whether it means Becky's reign from 2019 to 2020 or Bayley's 2019 to 2020 run. But either way, congratulations to Bianca Belair for that. The match itself, I thought it was really good. It was definitely my match of the night. Io dominated for the most part, but the wrestling was fluid and it was just a great match to watch. I enjoyed it throughout. I can't say enough good about it, but overall Bianca Belair gets the win. I'm not sure where she goes next. I'll have to see what happens on SmackDown. I'm surprised they haven't said anything about new Raw Women's Championships, as it now means that the Raw Championship is on SmackDown and the SmackDown Championship's on Raw. I'm not going to lie, it felt a bit weird watching Raw last night and having Rhea Ripley with the SmackDown Women's Championship. But hopefully they kind of clear all that up pretty soon. Hopefully before Night of Champions at least. But as next opponents, I'm not sure. I think being on SmackDown now, they can have new feuds happen for Bianca Belair. But I'm kind of hoping maybe towards SummerSlam we start seeing Bianca Belair's title reign come to an end. I feel like it's getting very stale. Hence why people in Puerto Rico were booing her. As Io Sky, in my opinion, is the better wrestler out of the two. Bianca Belair is very good, but Io is fantastic and probably one of my favourite women's wrestlers on the roster. But yeah, as I said, congratulations to Bianca Belair for becoming the longest reigning modern era champion. And yeah, just a fantastic match overall that I genuinely really enjoyed. Next up we had Seth Rollins defeating Omos. I thought this was Omos' best match to date, and it begs the question, can Seth Rollins actually put on a bad match with anybody? I certainly don't think so anymore. But the part where Omos stopped the stomp with just neck strength, I was really concerned at that point that Omos was going to get the win. In my opinion, thank God he didn't, and that Seth Rollins got the win here. He fully deserved the win. I think he put on a great match. You know, the fact that having someone the height and size of Omos put on a half decent match is actually pretty good. It wasn't all just power moves like it was with Brock Lesnar's match at WrestleMania. It was generally quite good storytelling throughout the match, which I genuinely quite enjoyed. Yeah, I'm happy that Seth Rollins is having this momentum. Obviously, as of Raw last night, he's now going to Saudi Arabia, the Night of Champions, to fight for the new World Heavyweight Championship, which I'm very pleased about. It was actually a very good episode of Raw. I would suggest that people go and watch it, or at least go watch the highlights. It was generally quite enjoyable. As for Omos goes, I'm not sure what is next for him. As he's a free agent, he's going to go on Raw or SmackDown. I'm not sure whether it'll probably just mean squash matches on either shows, I guess, for now. I'm not sure where his next feud comes, whether they will take him to Saudi Arabia, I am not sure. I think he'll definitely be around for Money in the Bank and SummerSlam though. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens with him. As for Rollins, I genuinely hope he wins the World Heavyweight Championship tournament and becomes the first/new World Heavyweight Champion. I'm hoping that the finals can be him and AJ Styles and that they're going to blow the house down. As far as a great match in Saudi Arabia, I feel like the Night of Champions show is going to be one of the best Saudi Arabia shows that will ever happen. I'm genuinely looking forward to it, and this match was pretty decent in fairness, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Following that, we had Austin Theory defeat Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed to retain the United States Championship. This match flew by for me. For me, it was like it was action-packed throughout the match, and then it ended, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I thought it was, action-packed throughout, and it was just enjoyable overall. I thought it was really good. It kind of went exactly how I expected it to go, which again isn't necessarily a bad thing. With Bronson Reed showing how athletic he is, although he's big. Bobby Lashley doing his normal power moves, but with massive amount of strength. And Austin Theory stealing the win at the end after a spear to Bronson Reed. I said it was good, quick. For Austin Theory, I feel like he's going to have new feuds on SmackDown for US Championship. I would quite like to see LA Knight and him have a feud. I feel like it will be good on the mic. They've got similar personas, but one's clearly a babyface in LA Knight, and you've got Austin Theory as a heel. They're going to be quite good. And yeah, I would love to see LA Knight become the United States Champion as well, as he is not in the main event picture quite yet. Though I know a lot of people have him slated to win Money in the Bank, which I would also love. But yeah, I said it was really enjoyable. Unsure where Lashley goes from here. I think if AJ Styles were to go to if him or AJ go to the final of the World Heavyweight Tournament, I would have the other face Roman Reigns at the Saudi event for the Universal Championship. But either way, I think Bobby's going to elevate back up to the main event scene, which I'm really looking forward to. As for Bronson Reed, I'm worried that he's going to get lost in the shuffle on Raw, though they seem to have a lot invested in him, just due to his size and athletic ability. He's like when I see him wrestle, he's like similar to Keith Lee and that kind of thing, which can be quite enjoyable. I'm not as invested in him as I am the rest of the people in the match though. Yeah, as I said, really good match overall, very enjoyable, and yeah, Austin Theory retains the United States Championship. Following that, we had Rhea Ripley defeat Zelina Vega to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. This was a decent match. I did think that and I think this might be like the more used to Vince McMahon booking than anything else, that Rhea might squash Zelina Vega in her home town. That's, whatever you want to call it for Zelina Vega. I don't think it's not country, is it? So it's like home place, I guess. But yeah, I honestly thought Rhea was like going to squash her, and it'd be like the most depressing thing. But it wasn't, and Zelina held her own against Rhea. Though the submission in the picture there is freaking brutal, no pun intended for Rhea's team, but that looked awful, and she should use that as like a finishing submission, because it would be great to use. I genuinely was very uncomfortable for Zelina watching that. But yeah, it was nice to see the reception for Zelina Vega from the hometown crowd. You could see how emotional she was, and it was nice to see. I like it when superstars do this. It was similar to Sheamus at Clash at the Castle and Drew McIntyre as well. And yeah, it's just really good to see stuff like that. It reminds you that, though we watch this crazy thing called wrestling, people are genuinely very, very invested in it and will support people in their home place. The match itself was good. As I really quite enjoyed it for what it was. I wasn't expecting much out of it, and it blew me away. It was way more competitive than I thought. But, nothing against Zelina Vega, but I was going in thinking it was a bit of a nothing defense for Rhea. Though, to be fair, a squash match as your first title defense would be a hell of a way to start a title reign. But yeah, I said really good. As I said, enjoyed it way more than I thought I would, and Rhea retains the SmackDown Women's Championship. Next up, we had Bad Bunny defeat Damian Priest in a San street fight. This surpassed all of my expectations. I went into this thinking that Bad Bunny might not take as many bumps and hits as a usual street fight would have, just due to maybe future tours and stuff he has in his other careers as a musician and stuff like that. But I couldn't have been more wrong. He took a ton of offense. He took that massive table spot, which you can see in the picture there, and respect to him for that. Respect to him for the whole match. It was very, very good. The crowd were all for this one. They really added to it as well. They made it way more enjoyable to watch as a whole. You could tell Priest wasn't going easy on Bad Bunny either. You could tell that he was going for it. He wasn't trying to hit him softly to make sure like, you know, like Hulk Hogan does when it looks bad but it's really soft. Yeah, Priest wasn't doing that. He was fully going for it, and yeah, it was really good, really fun overall. It was really fun to watch. Carlito and Savio Vega coming back was really cool. I think me and my brother popped for Carlito like fuck. Like, honestly, it was great to see. I think I've cheered that much as a Backlash in a long time. But I said, yeah, it was just a really fun match, very enjoyable. I'd suggest anyone just go and watch it. It is a bit of a laugh, but also having all the other groups have the Judgment Day and the LWO and the Legends return, it's just fun. It's good overall. Probably one of the better matches on the card. Some people said they should have been in the main event. I disagree with that. The main event was good for what it was. I would have preferred Cody and Brock go on last rather than this. For third to last on the card, I thought it was really good. A really good place for it as well. The fans were really up to it. I'd worry that they'd be a bit burnt out if it was in the main event. But yeah, just a fantastic match, really fun, and Bad Bunny proves again, as well as Logan Paul, that celebrities can wrestle, and it's really, really good to see. Next up, we had the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa and the Usos defeat Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens and Matt Riddle. I'll be honest, I've completely lost interest in the Usos versus Sami and Kevin storyline, especially after WrestleMania, when I didn't like their main event match as much. This match certainly didn't help that fact, and I'm glad that on Raw they cemented that their feud is properly over now. I'm very happy about that. The interest now is in the Bloodline kind of against themselves, with Solo nearly Simone spiking Jay and Jimmy super kicking Jay. I feel like that's going to be the next part of it, especially if Roman is coming back on SmackDown next week, also this week or next week, I can't remember. Either way, doesn't matter. Having Roman come back means that we're going to finally get some progression with this, because even though this stuff happened to Jay, nothing actually progressed in this Bloodline storyline, which is a bit annoying. I was expecting at least some kind of progression with them Solo spiking Jay at least. But it was probably the most interesting part of the match was when all that happened. Other than that, it kind of steadily went by. It kind of lost my interest a lot. I can't find myself getting distracted. But yeah, I said it kind of broke down. It kind of went the same way any 6-man went. It was kind of broke down eventually, and everybody went after everybody, and tags didn't matter anymore until they did. But yeah, it was kind of, I was surprised the Bloodline got the win. I was fully expecting Sami, Kevin and Riddle to kind of steal a win or something like that, but the fact they got the win was really good. But I'm really hoping that the story progresses on SmackDown this week and more towards SummerSlam. Maybe have Roman versus Jay at SummerSlam would be quite cool if Roman's not defending his titles. But yeah, they said some story progression would be great just to keep us all invested, because I'm slowly losing interest in the Bloodline storyline as well. Which I don't want to do, because I know the payoff's going to be really good. But yeah, Bloodline get the win here, but quite disappointed with how the match went. And finally, in the main event, Cody Rhodes defeated Brock Lesnar. This match hasn't quite split opinions, has it? Personally, I liked it. The finish could have been better, but looking at the build and Cody saying that how much he needs to win this match, for me, it showed his desperation. The fact that he attacked Brock before the bell went and kind of went for him then, and then getting the roll up in the Kimura, I feel like you could see Cody's desperation for a win come out, instead of having that definitive win, like pinning him clean. Well, I know he pinned him clean anyway, but properly to the mat and everything like that. He rolled him up instead. And like everyone else who watched, if you told me without me watching it that someone bled in this match, and especially watching these AEW matches with Cody, you would have assumed that he's the one that bled. So it was quite surprising that Brock bled, though I do feel like he wasn't supposed to. The way he hit the turnbuckle, which was also exposed at the time, it did it cut him in dead down the center of his eye, there. You could see the stitches and the black eye on Raw last night. He looked terrifying looking down the camera and cutting that promo, did Brock. But yeah, I thought it was accidental. I'll be honest, I don't think he was supposed to bleed during the match, but he did anyway. I might be wrong, and you can call me a fucking mark, as MJF once said, for that. But overall, I enjoyed this match for what it was. You know, it didn't go long, but then it's a Brock Lesnar match, so of course it wasn't going to go long. But yeah, I said it looks like Cody's starting to get really desperate, especially after the WrestleMania loss. And then he loses in the World Heavyweight Tournament thanks to Brock Lesnar, and we're going to get a match with them at Night of Champions. It wouldn't shock me if we got a stipulation added to that, whether it be street fight, no DQ, falls count anywhere, something like that. Down those lines, you know how those matches are. And for me, I know a lot of people have been trying not to compare this to John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at Extreme Rules 2012. I think if Cody were to win an Extreme Rules or Street Fight, whatever, against Brock Lesnar, I would see those comparisons. If it was me and I was booking it, I would have a Street Fight or something at Night of Champions, have Brock win that one, and then at Money in the Bank or SummerSlam have them have a Hell in a Cell or a Steel Cage match, and have Cody win that one. So it's like a proper feud. It's a 3-match feud. Cody wins 2-1, and then he moves on either at SummerSlam or after SummerSlam. I feel like that'd be a good way to go, and people won't be too frustrated with that. But as I said, match itself was really good. You know, the story of Cody being desperate, I think, is a really good way to go about it. Whether they're doing that, I'm not sure. It just seemed like it, in my opinion. And I'm glad we're carrying on this story. I just hope it doesn't end up being like a Cody Rhodes 3-match win, or he doesn't win the feud very quickly, as people would, I know, be upset with that, especially with the comparisons to John Cena in 2012. Yeah, good match for what it was. I enjoyed it anyway. So overall, the show completely exceeded my expectations. I expected to be like most other backlashes of recent times, where they're kind of nothing fused, that are either WrestleMania rematches or kind of don't really do much. But this was a fantastic show from start to finish, in my opinion. Probably apart from the Bloodline match, this is probably one of the best premium live events of the year so far. I think if I had to put them in order, I'd probably have it as Royal Rumble, Backlash, WrestleMania, Elimination Chamber. But yeah, the crowd was fantastic for this. They were constantly going for it. I think there was only like the Bloodline match and maybe the Triple Threat. I can't remember now what the crowd was like, where they seemed to have died down a bit. But for the rest of the matches, they were fully for it, and it was great to see. I do love it when a crowd's proper up for it. You know, it does add to the matches and the show overall. I'd probably say they're almost as good as the UK crowd, but maybe that's just biased because I'm in the UK. But yeah, from start to finish, it was fantastic, and yeah, it was just a really enjoyable show. It surprised me completely with just how great it was. For predictions, I got 6 out of 7 overall, which puts my tally to 21 out of 30 overall, which is pretty good. It's better than half, I guess. And obviously, the next premium live event that we have is Night of Champions, which is a Saudi Arabia event, which I know, me personally, I get really worried for. But I feel like this one's going to be really good. I feel like definitely having the guaranteed new champion in the World Heavyweight Champion is going to add to the event. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. If this Backlash is anything to go by, hopefully we have consistently good matches. I mean, even Raw was good last night. I know that's been struggling as of late. So maybe we're going to start a new era where WWE is more fun to watch, which, if that's the case, I genuinely can't wait to sit and watch it all. But yeah, I said Backlash, quality show. Genuinely, go and watch it. It is very good. So those are my thoughts and opinions on Backlash 2023. As I said in the last part, it was a great show. Honestly, go watch it. It's really, really good. But yeah, do leave a comment down below what your favourite matches were, what you think is going to happen going towards Night of Champions, who you think is going to be the first world champion or new world champion. I don't know whether they're carrying on the lineage or not. Please do, if you know, put in the comments down below if they're carrying on the lineage that Randy Orton had, or whether they are starting its new lineage on its own, because I have no idea, and they're not making it clear enough. But yeah, as I said, comment down below any feedback as well for me. I would love some feedback of ways I can improve the video. And for now, I will ask you guys to subscribe, like the video, share the video, notification bell on, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys later.